I am 68 years old. My name is Robert. I was born and raised in Portland, Oregon. And 2 years ago I sold my apartment, packed my life into 4 suitcases, and flew to the Philippines. I had done everything right. I had the spreadsheets. I had the research. I had watched what felt like hundreds of YouTube videos of men my age sitting on beaches with cold drinks saying the same thing. Why would I ever go back? I believed them. I want to tell you what they did not show you after the camera stopped rolling. Pause. I am not unusual. I am not a fool. I spent 40 years as a planning manager in Portland. My entire career was built on identifying risk before it arrived. I was analytical, careful, the kind of man who checked every number twice. And I still got it wrong, not because I did not plan, because I planned for the wrong things. Let me tell you what the first months looked like. I landed in Manila on a Tuesday morning. The moment I walked out of the terminal, the heat hit me. Not just warmth. Wait, the kind of air that wraps around you like a second skin. After 30 years of Portland winters and gray skies that lasted until April, I stood on that sidewalk outside Ninoy Aquino International Airport, and I smiled for the first time in a long time. I had rented a furnished 1-bedroom condo unit in BGC, Bonifacio Global City. The YouTube channels all pointed me there. Clean streets, wide sidewalks, modern high-rise buildings with pools and gyms, and 24-hour security. It felt more like Singapore than what I had imagined the Philippines to be. Glass towers, green parks, coffee shops on every corner. The rent was $800 a month. Back in Portland, I had been paying 3 times that for something half the size. I walked everywhere. I had breakfast most mornings at a small spot near Burgos Circle. Pandesal still warm from the oven. A cup of thick Filipino coffee for less than $1. I ate at local restaurants where I pointed at things on the menu I could not pronounce, and they were extraordinary every single time. On weekends, I took Grab to the Mall of Asia and watched the sun go down over Manila Bay. That view, that specific orange light sitting on the water in the evening, I remember thinking, this is what retirement is supposed to feel like. For months, I felt like a man who had finally made the right decision. Then the 5th month arrived. My electricity bill came in at 3 times what I had budgeted. The air conditioning ran constantly because of the heat, and in the Philippines, the electric bills are not forgiving. Nobody had warned me about that clearly enough. My landlord raised the rent by 30%. He had done it before to other Western retirees, and he knew we would absorb it, rather than go through the disruption of moving. Then came the visa extension, the special resident retiree visa. The SRRV required a $10,000 deposit with the Philippine Retirement Authority, documents I did not know I needed, to full days at the Bureau of Immigration, and ended with a fine I did not understand for a requirement nobody had clearly explained. I was standing in the government office in Manila in 35-degree heat, sweating through my shirt, holding a folder of papers, not entirely sure what rule I had broken or how to fix it. And for the first time since I arrived, I felt old. Not tired, old. Like a man who no longer had the energy to navigate a system that was not built for him. I had planned for the cost. I had not planned for the exhaustion of being permanently foreign. The social reality was the second thing I had wrong. The expat forums had promised community. Fellow retirees from America and Europe already made social life in BGC and Makati. Facebook groups organizing weekend trips, Rotary Club meetups, rooftop bars full of people just like me. That community existed. I found it. I showed up. But it was not what I had imagined. I joined the expat groups at Poblacion in Makati on Friday evenings. I went to the Internationals meetups in BGC. I sat at long tables with retired engineers from Germany, former teachers from Australia, divorced men from California who had all arrived with the same YouTube dream I had. The people were kind, Some of them were genuinely good company, but there is a difference between people who are friendly and people who know you. The friends I had back in Portland, the ones I had worked alongside for 20 years, the ones who had shown up when my wife passed, the ones who knew without asking when something was wrong, those people were not in any Facebook group in BGC. What I found instead was a room full of people who had also left something behind and were all quietly pretending they hadn't. We were all, in our own ways, running from something. That is not the foundation for the kind of friendship that holds you when things get genuinely hard. The hardest moment came 7 months in. My daughter Sarah called me on a Thursday evening. Her voice was different, careful in the way voices become careful when someone is trying not to worry you. My grandson had been taken to hospital. He was 4 years old, high fever. They thought it might be serious. It was not. He was home that same night. Everything was fine. But I was sitting in a condo in BGC, Manila, 14 hours away by flight, watching my family navigate one of the most frightening evenings of their lives without me. I had moved to the Philippines to finally live for myself. After 40 years of working, 40 years of responsibility, 40 years of putting everything else first, I had decided it was my turn. What I had not understood is that being needed is not a burden. It is a reason to get up in the morning, and I had flown 14 hours away from all of mine. I lasted 22 months before I packed those for suitcases again. Took the financial hit of breaking my lease in BGC, left behind the furniture I had bought and could not ship back, and booked a one-way flight home to Portland. Some people who do this never admit it. They disappear from the expat forums quietly. One day they are posting photos of Resort Park and Manila Bay sunsets. The next day they are simply gone. I understand why. There is a particular shame in returning, in admitting that the dream did not work, in walking back through arrivals at Portland International Airport knowing that people watched you leave with such certainty, and now you have to say, I was wrong. I felt that shame standing in baggage claim. I am telling you this anyway, because I think the shame is exactly what keeps people from warning others honestly. And I am 68 years old, and I am past the age where protecting my pride matters more than telling the truth. Pause, here's what I know now that I did not know when I bought that one-way ticket to Manila. The cost of living in BGC is real. The warm weather is real. The Pandesal and the Manila Bay sunsets and the extraordinary kindness of Filipino people. All of it is real. But there are costs that do not appear on any spreadsheet. The cost of being permanently foreign in a country where every system, the visa office, the electricity provider, the landlord negotiation, the hospital registration, every single one requires you to navigate as an outsider. The cost of starting from zero socially at 66 years old when starting from zero is genuinely exhausting. The cost of distance when your grandson is in hospital and you are 14 hours away by plane. The cost of realizing slowly, quietly, over 22 months, that the life you were trying to escape was actually the life that gave you meaning. That the routine in Portland you found suffocating was the same routine that made you feel like you belonged somewhere. I thought I was retiring to something. I was running away from something. Those are not the same thing. And no condo in BGC, no sunset over Manila Bay, no bowl of soup that cost less than $2, none of it could tell the difference. Only I could. I just needed 22 months and one phone call from my daughter to figure it out. I am home now. Back in Portland, I live in a smaller apartment than I had before. My pension stretches less far here than it did in BGC, but my grandson sits on my lap on Sunday afternoons. I know my neighbor's name. When something goes wrong, I know exactly which office to call and what to say. And I do not fall asleep in a beautiful city on the other side of the world, wondering why I feel so completely, inexplicably alone. If you are watching this and you are planning to retire abroad, I am not here to tell you not to go. The Philippines is a real and beautiful place. BGC and Makati will genuinely surprise you. The food will change you. The warmth of the Filipino people is not a cliche. It is real, and it is something you will carry home with you even if you leave. Some people retire there, and it is exactly right for them. I have met them. They exist. But I am asking you to be honest with yourself before you book the flight. Ask yourself one question. Why are you going? If the answer is to find something, community, warmth, a slower life, genuine adventure, a fresh chapter, then go carefully. Go with open eyes. Go knowing the electricity bills are higher than the YouTube channels tell you. Go knowing the visa process is more complicated than any forum thread explains. Go knowing that friendly and known are two completely different things. But if the honest answer, the one you do not say out loud, is that you are escaping something, loneliness, disappointment, a life that did not turn out the way you planned, then hear me clearly. The loneliness travels with you. The disappointment gets on the same plane. Manila gives you new streets. Makati gives you new restaurants. BGC gives you wide clean sidewalks and a pool on the 14th floor. None of it gives you a new self, and at 68 years old, sitting in a beautiful place 14 hours from everyone who has ever truly known my name, I learned that the hard way. My biggest regret is not that I went. My biggest regret is that I believed the fantasy without asking myself the one question that actually mattered. Not, can I afford it? Not, is it safe? Not, will the weather be good? But what am I actually looking for? And would this place give it to me? Or was I looking for something that had been important all along? The emergency was not financial. The emergency was human. And no spreadsheet I ever built in 40 years as a planning manager had a column for that. That is all I have. Go carefully. That is everything.